And we are back for yet another episode of the Sloth Doctors. I am Dr. Chip.
I'm Dr. Bob.
And you know what I want to start out with today? I meant to do this a couple episodes ago, but I want to give out a big happy anniversary to Steve and Gail. Now, I know you have no idea who I'm talking about.
No. In fact, when you mentioned it yesterday, I was thinking the owners of The Gathering, but that was Ed and Gail.
Yeah, close. But anyway, if you're a South Florida musician, you know who I'm talking about. You know Steve and Gail. They are the best thing that ever happened to the South Florida music scene ever. If you're playing a gig anywhere and you see these two walk into your gig, it just got really good. These two are the best, biggest music fans in South Florida. And here's the thing that they do that just really makes it perfect. All right. So usually you get to a gig, you start playing, there may be a giant dance floor, and for some reason, there'll be a hesitancy on people to just get out there and start dancing. Right. Usually you have to have some kind of spurn or some kind of, something to get to spark the interest to get it going.
Like a plant in
and
the audience.
These two, as literally walk right in the door, get right on the dance floor. And I think they have some kind of professional training because they are amazing dancers. They do stuff that they have this one move, which I like to call the teabag for obvious reasons. But I mean, these guys really, they know how to cut a rug. They go out there, they have a great time. They used to come to my Furious George gigs with our Furious George, both of them be wearing a Furious George t-shirt. Matter of fact, once Gail stole our monkey.
Some serious support.
What's that?
That's nice support there.
Oh, yeah. And any band they go to, if they have merch, they wear their merch. And they stole our monkey once, and she took it around, like, I think, a casino or something, and lost it. We actually lost our monkey for like 3 weeks till we found it. Somebody got it back for a reward or something. But anyway, so Steve and Gail, happy anniversary. It's going to be weeks
belated.
after.
I was going to say, by the time this posts,
it's going to be weeks
belated.
after you've actually had it, but I saw that you had an anniversary. I wanted to say happy anniversary to those guys because they're just great. They're the greatest.
I don't know
ever.
You guys, but happy anniversary. You sound like very good peeps.
All right, and then you said you wanted to, what you were just saying you wanted to bring up?
Oh, I thought we would talk about some gaming talk.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what you wanted to. Yeah. And
I know we've mentioned some video games before, and you claim that you're not a gamer, but that's not actually true.
Well, I've literally only played a couple games in my life, and I guess World of Warcraft was one of them for a while.
But you may have only played a couple, but the level of obsession that you put into them when you do find one that you like is uncanny.
Yeah, that's true.
And it very much like a hardcore gamer. It's just that you don't really like sample a lot of different things.
Well, I mean, here's the thing though. Not a lot of people have as much free time as I do.
Right.
So,
but I mean,
there's that.
World of Warcraft, which is a huge, and it still is a huge MMORPG. How many years ago was that? Like, it was over 15 years ago that we were playing that game.
Yeah, probably like,
And in the beginning, you were by far, you put more time in because, like you said, you had more time.
Surprising. I could have swore your sister was into it.
No, in fact, I was just talking to her about this on the phone, and she still plays like daily almost. And and she remembers when you used to have to babysit us like little kids in the game.
Yeah, I guess
and
so.
Run us from flight path to flight path so that we could acquire them all.
Right.
And you really did and then you just eventually got bored with it and just stopped. You just quit playing it.
Yeah.
But you went at it hard. And then that reminds me also the World War Online game that you play, the World War II Online.
Yeah, and that one I still occasionally play at that one, and sometimes I'll get into it real hard, and then the other times I'll be like, eh.
But when you were into it real hard, you went hard in the paint. You had all the extra peripherals, so you had like throttles and stuff, so you could do it.
Well, for that,
most
that
people
World War
that play
II
that
game
casually just use a mouse and keyboard.
And it's funny you say that because I would probably play the World War II game more now, except that number one, I'm on Wi-Fi. So, I mean, it's just not, you're not going to be able to compete with guys with a faster connection.
Right.
It's just kind of like trying to play, football against, I'm 3 foot and they're 8 feet tall, it's not going to work. Not to mention, I'm not going to invest money into a nice joystick if I don't even have a good connection.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could get a landline for it, but.
Oh, yeah, I could. But then again, I'm not that hardcore into it right now.
Anymore.
So,
yeah.
No, I mean, if we got a place, and I'm sure if we got a place, it would have fast internet, hardwired fast internet. And I'd probably go out and get a good joystick and get back in. But the thing about that game is That particular game, which is called World War II Online Battlefield Europe or something, I like to plug the game, although the guys that run it are complete idiots. They really have no idea what they're morons. But it's the concept of the game is amazing. It's basically like Call of Duty, except in Call of Duty, you can really only be an infantryman, as far as I know, in Call of Duty, right? You can't.
I think so. I don't know.
You can't drive a tank or
first-person
or
shooters.
fly a plane or do any of that kind of stuff. I don't believe. There have been other games that you can. I remember one or two that I may have tried that you could do something like that, like run around as infantry and jump in a plane or a tank.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The game is more concerned with historical accuracy than it is with graphics.
No. It's there's a lot of historical accuracy. Well, but the whole concept of the game is what if. The whole concept is what if America started supplying the Allies at the beginning of the war or something like that. And basically they just keep playing World War II over and over and over again. And they do whole campaigns like you go to Call of Duty, you go and, okay, this is a scenario. Well, in this game, you don't go in a scenario, you go into, all right, where's the war right now? Okay, well, here's the front lines. You can go fight here or there, whatever.
I remember watching you play that game when I come over to your house and hang out. And sometimes I'd sit, 30 minutes of you just driving in a direction to get to where the action is. I'm like, this is just not, I couldn't do that.
Well, the thing is, there's other ways to get into the game a lot faster and get to the action faster, but you get killed a lot more. It's like, there's a 13-year-old there waiting to kill you.
Right. You can't spawn in the middle of it all.
Exactly. Right. Or else, I mean, you can if you're one of those guys that like to run and gun, but that's kind of not. I started playing that game with my dad, and let me explain the rest of the concept of the game. It's the map of the game is basically all of Europe. You can literally spawn a plane in England and fly to Russia. So to be able
and there's no like fast travel, so it really does take the amount of time.
Exactly.
That's what I meant by accuracy, I guess.
Well, yes, in that aspect, it is very accurate. As a matter of fact, when you're flying planes, there's all kinds of different controls. You can black out by pulling too many G's. In that respect, it's pretty accurate. The damage model that you have.
Also, the equipment that's offered is equipment that existed at that time.
Yes, but there was so much more that they don't have, and that's the thing. Exactly.
They can't have everything, but.
Well, yeah. Absolutely not. In World War II especially, there's no way. But one of the things they really need to put in that game is the Mosquito Fighter. I don't know if you've ever heard of those. You know what that is?
I've heard of them, but I couldn't tell you what they are.
Mosquito Fighter was the only fighter in World War II that was made completely out of wood.
Okay. That rings a bell.
I mean, obviously not the engine and stuff that has to be metal, but there were no metal panels.
Wait, weren't there some of the kamikaze pilots that flew completely wooden planes?
But I mean,
obviously that's only in the Pacific Theater, and this game doesn't go there. So yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, you're probably right there. But these are the only really viable, like
the only ones they expected to get back.
Yeah, but they were badass. They were faster than just about anything else that flew. So they were like the shit, and they don't have them in this game, which is which is a shame. But the other thing about this game is, if you want to go up in a plane in this game, you better be damn good pilot. Because they're actually real pilots, actual veteran, Air Force, Navy pilots that play this game. And it's like, and sometimes you're on comms with them and they'll be like, hey, do this tuck roll, blah, blah, blah. They're like, what?
Right. And there's no like arcade mode or difficulty setting or anything, right?
Yeah.
Because it's all, I mean, aside from like anti-aircraft gun placements, it's basically just other players.
Exactly.
There's not a whole lot
there is some automatic
environment going on.
Yeah, there is certain spots stuff will start shooting at you, but it's not very accurate. But yeah, otherwise, most of the things that shoot are another guy at a computer, not a game or not the game, but a guy. Which is the other thing that makes that game so satisfying is, I mean, that's literally the best part of the game is when you like, I got him, and he's over there going, damn it, he got me.
And you said you were playing with your dad too. Did he turn you onto the game or?
Oh yeah. He got me. Well, he used to play it and I used to just sit there and watch him play to begin with. But then I started playing, and what we would do is, all right, so you got to understand the concept of the game. You can do anything. You can be a foot soldier. You can be you can drive a tank. You can fly a plane. You can
be a cook behind lines.
Well, it's funny. There's actually stuff you're not cooking, but there is support roles that you can do. Sometimes you have to do it because it's like, shit, we got to, get this.
Would that be the essentially being a healer in WoW? Be a cook behind the lines?
Good point. Yeah, the healer.
Or a cleric.
Well, that's the other thing in this game. You don't ever heal in this game. You get hurt. That's it. You're going to die eventually. Or
there's no bandaging or anything?
Nope. There's no healing of any kind.
Okay. Well, I mean,
but you can do anything. They have aircraft guns and anti-tank guns and trucks. Somebody has to drive the truck, So what we would do is he'd have a couple of accounts. So he would, use one account to get a truck. And then we'd take like a couple anti-tank guns, or maybe an anti-tank gun and an anti-aircraft gun. And we kind of go sneak around the back of the lines where they're not really looking for us. And, that's the part you would see where we'd be driving around, drive. All right, we got to get around to the back and then cut off.
You have to pay for each account, or was it free to play?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, now you can do free play and get a truck. So that one you can do for free. Right. But I mean, it's an okay game. It's fun, but they've got issues. Like right now, there's just not that many people that play it. It's just not like you say. It's like there's not too much opportunity to just spawn in an immediate action. There's usually you can spawn in, but you got to go find the action. You can't because it's not just the game. It's another guy. He's out there waiting for you. You got to go. All right, where's this guy hiding? And what do I got to do?
Does it have chat? Or do you have to use like Discord or something?
You can do both. It has chat in the game, and now there's actually voice comms in the game, but they're not as good as Discord. Suck. Discord's much better. And they used to use a thing called TeamSpeak, which we used to use on World of Warcraft. Yeah. That's why I could have
Okay, so speaking of World of Warcraft, your dad got you into the World War II online game.
Right.
Was it me that got you into World of Warcraft, or the other way around?
I think it had. I don't remember.
Because it would be pretty funny if it was me that got you into it and you basically just took over and surpassed me. Because if that's true, same damn thing happened with Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah. It may have been that. I don't really remember, to tell you the truth. I may have just started playing it because it was really popular back then, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's still
of course, I was just telling
popular now.
It was just telling this guy about, I was talking to him about the guys that did the podcast before us were doing a financial podcast. But I was telling him how, that Steve Bannon made all his money in the Bitcoin of World of Warcraft called gold. It's the same thing.
Right.
It's digital imaginary currency. Yeah. And he made a shit ton of money selling 1 million gold pieces for $19.95 on World of Warcraft. That was Steve Bannon.
He was a Chinese gold farmer. That's what we always called him.
Yeah. And so now they want me to take Bitcoin seriously. I'm like, nah, I'm going to stick with the World of Warcraft stuff.
Right.
That's much more stable market. It's so crazy. It's like, that's not real money, guys. I mean, real money's not even real money. Then you're making up even less real money. It's so
But
insane.
You didn't, other than like maybe going to the arcade, not whenever when you were a kid or a teenager, huh? No Atari, no Nintendo, no
not really.
PlayStation at your house.
Not any video games at home. No, not any of those kind of weird that needed controllers or anything. The only controller I ever bought was for a PC game, a joystick kind of thing. No, I never... maybe once way back, I may have had some stupid.
It's just odd
game.
that, you just found these 3 games and then really got into those, and that's it.
Yeah.
No previous,
Well, and I'm kind of over all of them except that one, World War, which that's never going to change. It's not like you can do that and it's always going to be the same.
Right. Well, the only thing the same is the map and the equipment.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's and don't get me wrong, people do a lot of the same thing, which sometimes makes it too easy. Like I've gotten in situations where it's like, all right, this is just too easy. I can't just keep killing these guys. This is silly. Which reminds me, once there's like people get on there and like while we're playing, they'll brag about getting like maybe 20 or 30 kills on a mission, which is damn good. But man, I think I hold the record for that game for the most kills of any mission. I killed, and it was literally one guy 235 times.
Oh my. In one campaign?
in one mission.
Oof.
In one mission, I had this place where he spawned, scoped out, and as soon as anybody spawned there, I could kill him. And who in their right mind? 235 times.
Yeah. I the reason I don't play first person shooters like Call of Duty or any of those, and I just don't have the reflexes and the hand eye coordination.
Well, here's the thing:
I just get destroyed by people younger than myself.
Here's the thing. I mean, maybe he didn't have a joystick or something, but he could have just spawned a tank and killed me.
Tried something different.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he didn't have a joystick, but even without a joystick, you can still do it with the keyboards if you. But I don't know. It was just like, it was literally like I checked my list because it'll tell you who you killed after your mission, and I'm like, how many guys did I kill? And it was literally 2 guys. One guy once, and the next guy like 234 times.
There's so many.
And this is the hilarious part. Within this game, there's a hierarchy, or at least there was back then, especially even more of a hierarchy of these guys in what's called HC, High Command. And they determine basically where you do stuff, like, all right, we're going to attack here or defend here or whatever.
So basically guild leaders.
Yeah. Perfect. But anyway, and this guy was one of those guys, and he got kicked out because of that. Because literally, he kept spawning till, I mean, each city has so much supply. And if you run out of supply, there's not much to keep them.
I've never looked for
and he went through all the supply.
I just realized I've never checked YouTube to see if there's any footage. A lot of gamers post footage of their game. I've never watched
it live every once in a while.
Oh, the WW2 online?
Yeah.
Even though I'm not, like I said, I can't successfully play any of those first person shooters. I do like to watch some of the guys online that do it because especially the ones that really induce rage in their other players.
Oh, yeah, the guys that
There's
do
a guy that plays Call of Duty. His channel is called These Knives Only. So
what's it called? What
These Knives.
These Knives.
These Knives.
Okay,
These Knives
I thought
only.
you were saying Thieves Knives.
No. And his whole bit is that he plays Call of Duty, but he doesn't use guns. He only runs around and uses the melee knives or staves or nunchucks or whatever the game is giving, and he'll throw a knife or a throwing tomahawk, and the rage he incites. These people scream at him, play the game right, use a gun. And at his point, he's like, hey man, these weapons are in the game. That's totally okay to use them. It's not cheating.
He would love that game that I played, that you can knife somebody in that game. And when you do, it's the most satisfying thing ever. Because just the fact that somebody is that...
And he goes on these
situationally unaware that you can get close to him in that game with a knife.
He'll go on crazy kill streaks like 19, and that's a fast-paced game, man, where you die a lot. And he'll go like 19, 30, whatever kills without getting touched.
He's just running through,
people screaming and rage quitting all left and right and yelling at him in the comment. Oh, it's just wonderful. It's so satisfying.
Here's the other thing I don't think you realize about the game I play now. Everybody in that game hates me.
Oh, well, that's a bonus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They hate me. I mean, I literally have probably maybe half a dozen fans that get it, right. But everybody else, I'm the biggest troll on the planet in this game. I'll just be like, what the hell are you idiots doing?
Because it amuses you, or does it give you actually an advantage?
A little of both, truthfully.
I'm assuming that in chat you can only speak to allied or you can only speak to your side, right?
This is the thing that drives them crazy, is the fact that, first of all, I don't pay. I just play for free. That kind of miffs some of them. But the other thing is they are so ritualistically, and they do have squads. And I guess if you're in a squad, I guess there's an amount of loyalty, but I'll play one side for a while and go, you guys are stupid. I'm going to go play the other side.
Oh, yeah. I can see how
they hate me.
Yeah.
They hate me. And of course, they accuse me of cheating all the time, which I'm like, I actually had one of the guys that owns and runs and develops the game try to accuse me of cheating once. And I told him right on chat, I said, hey, motherfucker, you go catch me cheating, you ban me for life. Otherwise, shut the fuck up.
Like using an aimbot or something? Or
No, but they think what I'll do is go to the other side and use information like, I know they're going right here right now. Let's all go there and be ready for them and kill them all. Which I don't. I do the exact opposite. If they're going to do something, I go, okay, I'll go to the other side and go do something somewhere else and beat your ass there or something. I definitely don't cheat. When I first started the game, I used to try to cheat to get myself more rank, which basically meant going on one account on each side and trying to just get together and kill each other. That was hard enough, let alone trying. And they bitch about cheating in this game all the time. And I keep telling them, I'm like, look, I play both sides. Nobody's cheating.
Right.
There's nobody cheating.
Is there a pay to win aspect? Like, if,
No.
you know,
What do you mean pay to win?
if you spend enough money, can you get such good gear that you can just destroy other players?
No, they just go, oh, you're just a fucking cheater. I'm like, okay, whatever you say, dude. I don't know. Why would I cheat? I don't care.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I don't care as much as you. I don't care what you say. And that's the secret to this game. The rage portion, I used to kind of get into a rage sometimes. And you know what gets rid of that? Caring about winning. These guys just so want their side to win. Once you don't care, shit, this is fun as hell.
Unless they're playing for money or something. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But they're not. They're just playing for pride of, this time the Axis won. Okay, this time the Allied won. We've won this many campaigns. And then the funny thing is they'll be so so adamant about being on one side. And then like the campaign goes till, all right, it'll start in a certain spot and it'll go until you've captured or destroyed all the other side's factories. And that's how deep the game is, because these factories are churning out supply the whole time. You can bomb them while the campaign is going on to slow down their supply.
Right.
I mean, it's a very involved game. But
is the win condition always the same? Just destroy the factories, or is it ever okay?
Yes.
You can't alter that or play a different scenario with a different win condition.
No, but there's several million ways of getting to that. I mean, the factories are all stretched out in a bunch of different cities. You can go up from the north, or you can come from the south. But anyway, but then they'll complete one of these campaigns and get ready to start another one, and like a whole squad will just switch sides, and then they'll be on the other side. And like, well, what? I thought you were Axis for life. What happened? Now all of a sudden you're, And the thing is, there's definite disparity in the equipment. Like German equipment, just better, just usually.
Right.
And unfortunately, the game fucks with it a lot. Like sometimes, like it used to be that like the Tiger tank was the best tank in the game. Now, for some reason, the Firefly is the best tank in the game, even though the Firefly is a great tank, but it can't take the punishment of a Tiger tank. One or two hits on a Firefly and it's going to blow up, And they've got these things where they're almost indestructible. It's like, wait a minute, that ain't cool. That ain't right. They're not. Right. Now, Panzer, Tiger, those things were almost indestructible. They were fucking 60-ton tanks. They were huge. But, it's... Yeah.
Have you tried World of Tanks or War Thunder, any of those games? They look like jazzier versions of the game you play, but I'm not sure how accurate they are. And
the thing is, with a game like that, all you can play is a tank.
I know. Well, War Thunder, I think, gives you the choice of tanks, planes, or boats.
Oh, really? I don't know. I haven't really put.
World of Tanks is definitely.
I mean, here's the thing: the learning curve to play the game I play is long enough. Like a lot of people try to play it and just fuck this. It's too much to learn to even figure out how to play the game right. Yeah.
And the only competitive game I play online anymore nowadays is Hearthstone, which is just like a Magic card game.
Right. Yeah.
Which is funny because it's still somehow a weird link, and I don't play World of Warcraft anymore.
Yeah,
but because the game is based on that,
fantasy element.
Yeah, well, no, it's literally based on that. Like the same classes. It's made by the same company. It's made by Blizzard. So they'll introduce a new card set or a new hero or something, and that basically lets me know that they've changed something in World of Warcraft, because that's where all the inspiration for this game comes from.
Oh, that's funny.
Even though I don't go and play it, but it's always against other players, and you don't get to really hear them bitch to you, but you do get a lot of rage quitting. My personal favorite is when you beat somebody badly enough that they immediately send you a friend request. And the reason they're sending you a friend request most of the time is not to be your friend. It's just that once you become somebody's friend, you can send messages. And every time you accept that friend request after a good harsh ass whipping, that first message you're going to get is, you're a fucking cheater. I don't know, you know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, people lose their mind.
Your mom wears
then you just read it, send back a response, and then delete them as a friend. And
all right, well, enough about gaming, but we'll stick to the fantasy realm where, what do you think is stupider? Flat Earth theorists or term limit people? Just so stupid.
Term limit people? What do you mean?
Well, term limits. It's the stupidest thing. I mean, they're basically, people are saying, well, let's forget about the whole democracy thing. And, we know you picked those people, but no.
No, yeah. I would say probably that.
Yeah, it's like, we have term limits. They're called elections.
Right.
Maybe you stop electing the same criminals over and over and over again. You know, you have a term limit. Next time you go to the poll, vote the fucker out. That's the term limit. That's it. Why would you need to have the government to come in and say, hey, I know you want this guy, but yeah, he's been there twice already. Can't do it anymore. I know for a fact if Thomas Massey was my representative, I'd be like, you term limits over to my fucking dead body. You know, it's crazy. I mean, just vote him out. That's what voting's for. That's term limits. That's the original. That is the ultimate term limit. Yeah, vote him out. It's crazy. Oh, but we need term limits and blah, 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 blah. And those billionaires will stop giving the billionaires your money. How about that? How about stop with Amazon, stop with the debate, But
it's so convenient.
Yes, it is.
It's so easy.
They love the billionaires till they're billionaires. And then, it's great. It's like, well, just stop giving them your money. Anyway, it's crazy. But anyway, go back to the flat earthers. Those geniuses.
That is what.
Wait till I tell you what I just saw. Here's the thing.
The classic meme quote is the one about flat earthers from all around the globe.
Yeah. All right, so listen to this. A guy posts a thing. He says, okay, so if the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, why do I need airlines? I could just use a hot air balloon. So my response was, I don't know how smart you are, but going 1,000 miles an hour in a hot air balloon is probably not a good idea. It's like,
no, this idiot thinks that he's going to sit still.
Yes.
And the Earth is going to go 1,000 miles an hour underneath him, and then he gets to come back down.
But he'll go right next to the jet. You're going 1,000 miles an hour. It's just like, God almighty, you people are just, it's amazing. The amount of pretzel logic and idiocracy of these.
And the irony, too, that people that believe things like that utilize satellites and many other things that completely destroy their theory in order to spread their theory all around the globe.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy that it even exists. And I mean, you got to admit, at some level, they're not serious. They're just,
you would hope.
Yeah, just trying to get a rise out of exactly like they're getting right now out of us. Like, what a
guy that I can't remember his name, but some dude killed himself, not on purpose, like going up in rockets and whatnot and balloons to try to prove the flat Earth theory. And I'm pretty sure that guy was just a troll or doing it for notoriety or money.
And he didn't really kill himself?
No. He did really kill himself on accident, but I don't think he was a firm believer in the actual believing that the Earth was flat.
Wow, so you say he didn't really believe it, but he went so far to prove it that he killed himself.
On accident, yeah, for money.
That would that's like the ultimate irony, isn't it?
It is pretty good.
Wow. That's all in. That's all in on the scam. That's a level of, well, it's not sloth because he worked awfully hard to do it.
He did work hard, but he scammed a lot of people. So there's a little bit of honor in that, I guess.
That's insane. Flat Earth. I mean, I had to unfriend a guy, great drummer, my buddy Tim. I had to unfriend him years ago. I'm talking about maybe even decades ago, because he wouldn't stop fucking posting about the flat Earth, and I would debate the guy forever, because the guy's not dumb. The guy's got. I mean, he has technical knowledge. He can take your computer apart and put it back together.
Right.
And it's like I would try to scientifically debate him. And his ultimate thing, once you've completely cornered him with that's it, there's no way you can believe this. Oh, but with God, everything's possible. And it was like, oh, come on, man. Really? Jesus Christ.
All right. How about,
speaking of which,
flat Earth theory versus homeopathy, people that believe in homeopathic medicine?
Well, I don't think both can't be true. I mean, homeopathic medicine may work at some level.
No, homeopathic medicine is one of the biggest scams. It's ridiculous.
What is homeopathic
medicine? Is the concept that water has memory, and that water, it gets worse than that.
I thought it was like natural remedies or something.
No. That is not what homeopathic means. Homeopathic means that you would take, they also believe that like cures like. It's an insane, almost alchemical, magical thought system.
The people that sun their butts?
No, but they're adjacent to the people that like to sun their
anuses or taint. Yeah.
No, it's the concept that you would you would put, let's say you put aspirin into a bottle of water and then shake it up,
right.
and then pour that bottle of water in another bottle of water and shake it up. And that the more you dilute it, literally, the more you dilute it, the stronger it becomes, until there's literally, we're talking like 1 part per billion. And so, of course, it has no effect whatsoever. It's completely. Remember, we were talking on one of the other about James.
How do they explain? Why do they think it gets stronger?
Because the water has the memory of the medicine and the memory of the curative power. It's shitballs insanity is what it is.
Yeah, that's.
There's this great Mitchell and Webb. It's these 2 British guys that had a sketch show on the BBC, and they have one about homeopathic medicine where they rushed this guy in who just had a car accident, or was just hit by a car or whatever, and they're like. They look at the color of the paint that he got. He was hit by a blue Montero. Quick, get me 1 fleck of blue paint, dilute it into 15 grams of water, then shake that up, and they're like, should we try the healing crystals? And they're like, well, if that's not going to work, nothing is, It's just ridiculous.
Oh, so they're like the crystal people. Gotcha. Yeah.
Well, adjacent to that as well. But yeah, it's this whole belief that water has memory and that it can remember the substance that it's
smudging does anything. Yeah.
It's an insane.
I just saw something process where they were trying to link some kind of, scientific study to smudging about how it kills bacteria in the air or something like that.
Oh, you mean like when you like burning sage and stuff like that?
And that's smudging, isn't that called smudging? I think
it is called smudging. Yep. And while it may have inadvertent, maybe the burning of that does kill some microbes or something. That's not why people do it, but.
No, every chick I've ever seen do it is a witch. Or claims to be a witch.
Oh, crystals, believing in the healing power of crystals is another one. It's just, it's funny to me. If you're an atheist, be an atheist. You know what I mean? If you don't believe, you don't believe. That I happen to fall into that camp. It blows my mind, people that mock religious but claim to be spiritual and think that they have that, again, like homeopathic medicine, or that they can communicate with angels, or that they have crystals. Or it's like, at least people that are religious have the self-humility to not think that they themselves have magical powers. You know what I mean? Like, I don't believe, but I have more respect for somebody who believes that they have to intercede with some celestial power rather than somebody who thinks they can literally just do it.
If you read those one guy's books, what's the guy? They had the whole series of books with the anagrams and and the whole Mary Magdalene and Jesus had a kid.
The Da Vinci Code.
Yeah, if you kind of go with his theory, then that God is actually in you. You do actually claim to be, if you go by that. That's not the traditional.
Right. That's an interesting interpretation, and it works great in a fictional novel, but I don't buy it either.
But, no, I'm not saying it's any more viable. I'm just saying
hubris to think that you are a walking actual magician.
That's almost the same hubris, I guess, which is, I guess, why they got pushback, I guess, from some of the actual religious people, like, oh, that's you claiming you're God. And yes, I agree with them. And weirdly enough, in that regard, I do find that slightly more offensive to think that you can do it all on your own. We agree that your ridiculous rules are
even more ridiculous than their ridiculous set of rules.
Yes, we definitely side on the less ridiculous of the ridiculous as much as we can. Speaking of ridiculous, what else we got?
It's been a slow, but I mean, Western religion has been a slow march towards more secularism. I mean, it really has. When it started off, everything, of course, was shrouded in mystery and kept in Latin until the Protestant Reformation, before people could even read the Bible in their own, in English. And then that whole reform was really just a return to the actual, what was actually written in the book, as opposed to letting the priests have all the power.
Let's take the last 20 minutes here to cross from the religious to the religious and political. Do you think these last couple of, and this will be weeks old by the time this airs, but do you think these last kind of like the Denver, Colorado flamethrower and the other guy that shot the people, the Jews, are these all false flags?
I don't know. It's too hard. I don't know. I haven't heard or even read enough about either of them to make a theory on that. But
Jimmy Dore's convinced they are, and he makes a decent point. The first one, he does notice that. All right, I don't know if you saw any of the footage of the guy when they arrested the first guy, but apparently I don't know if he turned himself in or something, but he basically, there's some cops there, and they're really, Jimmy Dore points out, they're really kind of kid gloving this guy, until he finally yells out, like they're like keeping him like out in this area until he finally goes, "Free Palestine." Then they take him down to the ground and get rid of him, which kind of seems, if you watch the video, it's like, that is a little.
Haven't seen the video, so I can't comment on that one.
And then the other thing is, the other guy is, I don't know, he just seems too much of a nutbag not to be a false flag. I mean, he wasn't even, I guess he had a spray bottle, spray bottle and a lighter and some Molotov cocktails or something. And of course they were ready to convict him for murder and nobody died.
Right. Yeah, you did mention that.
You're like, wait a minute, I think somebody's got
can't even charge him with murder if nobody died. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, well, they charged him with like 19 counts of something, and I'm sure there's 18 terrorism counts of some whatever they make up after since 9/11.
Well, if you're lighting people on fire, you should be charged with some things, I would say.
But I mean, I don't think there's 19 counts worth of stuff there. There's one thing: he lit people on fire. That's like what? Assault. That's felony assault, right? That's.
I would go so far as to say attempted murder, probably.
Yeah, there you go. That's even, but 19 counts of what? That's just crazy. And, but then they also like, he may have burnt 19 people, so that's the night, or so many counts of this. And then there's this many victims, which is each victim is a count.
Right. Maybe a little property damage.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just the lawfare they throw in nowadays. It's just like, look, we all saw what the guy did. Just charge him with that. It's not like he's going to get away with it. Everybody saw it,
I mean, yeah, it could be a false flag, but you can never underestimate the amount of, sadly, even though it is 2025, the amount of religious fervor that still exists in the world, even in seemingly westernized countries. And it's not always from the suspected sources, although, most of the time it is from one of the big three that we can always guess. Well, CIA. Usually Islamic. No, I was just referring to Judaism, Christianity, and Islam.
Well, but I mean, the thing that I believe that the intelligence agencies use that to their best, whether the people are religious fervor or not. I believe the CIA or the Mossad or whoever is using that. They're like, hey, this guy will do this.
It's a combation of both for sure. Yeah. It's a combination of both for sure. So let's set
up the circumstances where it'll be really easy for them. Oh, and did you hear about the the guys that supposedly tried to kidnap the governor? What was the governor? Whitmer?
Yeah, I don't know anything about it.
Well, apparently those guys might be getting out of jail soon because they're finally getting out the evidence that the FBI set them all up. Said, hey, you guys should go kidnap the governor. Well, we really don't want to. No, really, you should. Oh, yeah, well, we really don't want to. Well, we'll pay you to do it. What?
And it never developed beyond just talking about it online. Like,
I forget how far it got. Well, it got as far as the FBI wanted it to till they could charge them.
Well, I'm not arguing.
I don't know how
I'm just curious if they actually gathered materials or rented a car or whatever.
Well, whatever they did was at the FBI's request.
Yeah, entrapment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The whole thing was apparently is entrapment. They're going to get out because it wasn't their idea. They didn't want to do it. They're like, well, all right. We do not like her. That was probably about the. We also don't like the governor and would definitely consider doing this, but I don't know.
Like what would be your goal? Kidnapping to demand what?
I have no idea. That's a good question.
And it would even if anything where you were concessions given, as soon as you release them, like it's all going to be reversed. Clearly, it doesn't make any sense at all. There's no end. There's no winning in the end game on that.
And there's the indictment of how stupid these guys are. Why didn't they ask him that?
Yeah. After we kidnap her, then what are we supposed to do?
Right. I'd love to have heard
what's that list of demands we're supposed to ask.
Yeah. Well, I would love to hear the transcripts of the trial and see if that was even talked about. Like, okay, well, after you kidnapped him, what were you going to do?
What ludicrous bullshit did you promise this guy?
Yeah.
To get him to even go this far.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. And, it's just, I don't know. There's so many, it's just too much. I'm turning into an anarchist, dude. There's too many states, too much government. We got rid of all the government. I think the planet would be a better place.
I don't know. I think we'd just be ruled by oligarchs and corporations. And
not much different than
with just much opener. And I don't know. I don't think it would be necessarily better.
I don't know. Well, I mean, all right, let's go down that rabbit hole. Let's say we got rid of all governments and it was like a Blade Runner type existence, where it was just corporations that ran the world. How much worse could it possibly be than now, and why?
I think how do I even try to articulate it? The meager checks that we do have on corporations, even though we clearly see every day that the more money you have, you can get around them.
Yeah, there's no checks on corporations.
I don't know. I think that at least we can keep the corporations from attacking across. Yeah, you know what? I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't
Deckard?
make any.
Is that his name?
Difference.
No, that was
I think
his name.
Deckard was the Harrison Ford guy's name.
Who is that fucking data hoarder? Why can't I remember his name?
Are you talking about the like creator guy?
The Blade Runner guy, yeah.
One that made the eyeballs and stuff that they had to try to sneak in to see?
No, the guy that the head of the corporation, and corporation's named after him. Wayland
something.
That's the guy, Wayland. Dude, and here's the thing. You got to watch the second one just for, what's his name's portrayal of that guy. It's so good. It's so good. And he's portrayed by the guy from 30 Seconds to Mars. What's that guy's name?
Jared Leto?
Yes. And he does a great job. I can't believe you haven't seen that movie.
No.
Dude, that's a great movie.
I don't know why. I just like the original so much that I never fucked with the second one.
No, it's one of the very few that it's like, oh, wow, yeah, that's... And dude, I'm not even telling you about the plot because the ending is just so, holy shit. You won't believe it. So I don't want to give it away. But yeah, that's a great, but anyway, back to false flags. I don't know. The whole thing is just, I mean, Likud and CIA are just so desperate for a war with Iran. It's like they got to get that seventh fucking country in. You know about the 7-country plan, right?
No.
Oh, back in, God, I want to say 2004 or 5. You know who Wesley Clark is, right? General Wesley Clark?
Nope.
He was a big Pentagon guy back in like the 2000, during 9/11 and afterwards in Afghanistan. Well, he was on like Larry Flint, or not Larry. What's Larry? The talk show dude, Larry
King.
Yeah, Larry King. And he says on Larry King, he goes, yeah, I was walking around the Pentagon that one day, and this guy waves me in the office. He goes, hey man, look at this. You won't believe this. And he shows me a memo that they're planning on taking out 7 countries in 5 years. Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Libya, Somalia, what's the other one? Afghanistan.
Yemen? You said that one.
Yemen, maybe, and one other. Anyway, but we've got all of them so far, except Iran. That's the only one that we haven't been in, overthrown, destabilized. Syria being the last one.
All 7 of those OPEC countries?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think Afghanistan.
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah.
But no, we've got all of them but Iran, and they want Iran bad. They want Iran bad.
Afghanistan's not OPEC. That's just poppies.
Yeah, it's heroin. Yeah. No, they want Iran bad, man. And I'm sure they, I don't think they have a nuclear bomb. I'm sure they could make one if they wanted to. I mean, if they've got the stuff. But I seriously think they just want nuclear power like everybody else. They don't want to have to burn up all the oil that they, they want to sell it.
Yeah.
I don't know. The whole thing is they're so hell bent on war with Iran that I think they're doing false flags, like anything that, and it's so seemingly inexplicably linked to the whole Gaza thing. Like, because it's apparently all of them had to be conquered at Israel's best. So, so the whole thing's supposedly because of Israel. It's crazy.
Iran's a little different in a demographical way than most of the other countries that are mentioned, because most of the other countries that are mentioned are predominantly populated by Arabs, whereas Iran still has a great deal. I mean, they are Muslim, but a great deal of the population is still essentially Persian. They weren't displaced in the same manner that most of the native populations of the other regions were when they were originally, taken in the Arab conquest.
And they're all the one sect of Muslim. They don't have like the infighting amongst themselves.
Iran are mostly Shia, whereas almost all the others are Sunni. Sunni is far more prevalent in the Middle East.
But they're like There's not like there's Sunnis in there like doing terrorist stuff or anything like that, like trying to fight against them or anything. They're pretty solidarity in their Muslim ish stuff or whatever.
No, I don't. I think there is a little bit a branch of Sunniism there.
Maybe there is.
And the only difference between the two is just it has to do with the lineage of who was to be the leader of Islam after the death of Muhammad.
Oh, right.
So
right.
one group, believes that it was somebody chosen by Muhammad, whereas the other group believes that it has to be a direct descendant from.
Right.
And so therein lies the primary difference between the two groups.
And it's that's really enough to kill. That's like, I will fucking kill you.
Yeah, it's not nearly the schism that was between Protestantism and Catholic Church, or even the Western and Eastern Roman empires. But yeah, apparently it's still worth killing people over. Crazy. Still worth fighting about.
Yeah, they definitely want to do something over there. I don't know. The whole thing is all right, let's say they did start a war with Iran, all right, and we're involved with it. Now we're involved with Iran. We're funding Israel in Gaza. We're in Ukraine. There's no way in hell China's not going to go, hey, Taiwan's ours now. You know that, right? There's no way we're going to be able to stop China.
I'm shocked that they haven't already made a move for Taiwan. I really thought it was going to happen last year.
Well, they're waiting for them to fuck with Iran, and then we're going to be completely strapped. We're not going to be able to.
We keep saying they're waiting for this, they're waiting for that. They're waiting to see what happens when Putin tries to take Ukraine. Well, clearly they are waiting for something, but we don't really know what they're waiting for. After
this last couple of weeks, I don't know, man. I think Putin maybe. I don't think he's negotiating in good faith. I think he's just going to take fucking Ukraine. He's done. I think he's like, fuck it, we're just taking it.
Yeah, I think to a certain degree, he's never really negotiated in good faith.
No. I think at first, if they would have, after he took the Donbass back, if Zelensky would have said, all right, I'll tell you what, we promise not to, we'll be autonomous, we won't go into NATO, we won't fight anymore, everything will be cool. I think everything would have been normalized. Everything would have been great. But
I don't think so. I think he wanted all of Ukraine from the get-go.
Well, I don't think he wants all of Ukraine because I don't think he needs all of Ukraine. I mean, there is a lot of value in the rest of the Ukraine, but he's got the part that's got a lot of the value. I mean, the part he's got is supposedly where they grow the most wheat or whatever.
I think he could be convinced to begrudgingly stop, but I think he definitely wanted it all. I think he wants everything that was in the original borders of the USSR.
Oh, sure. If they said, well, nothing there to stop you, he would absolutely take it. Absolutely. But no, I think if Zelensky had said, look, we'll give you the fucking Donbass. All right, we fucked up. We won't go into NATO. Just stop fucking with us. We'll stop fucking with you. Everything will be cool. We'll do business. I'll do business with the West if you want to. Eventually, maybe do business with you guys. And here's the thing. I mean, it's like, I don't know how we could be so invested in Ukraine. I mean, all right. First of all, the hypocrisy of like, oh, well, they're a sovereign nation. Yeah, we do that all the time. First of all. Second of all, they're Russians. I mean, until, mid 80s, 90s, they were Russians. It's not like, it's as if.
The capital of Russia was once, for a period, was Kiev. Yeah, exactly.
It's like, they're all Russians. You're saying you hate Russians, but guess what? They're all Russians. Oh, and then there's this guy, Rob Stevenson. I want you to come on the show, I swear to God. But this guy and I vehemently fight about Ukraine. And he keeps going, oh, your boy Zelensky and my boy Putin. And I'm like, I keep trying to convince him, I'm like, look, they're no good guys. There are no good guys involved in this. I don't think any of these people are acting in good faith or acting in, for anybody's good other than their own. They're just doing what they think they got to do,
and or what they think they can get away with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which is what they've got to do. I mean, That's the title of that comes with the title. You have to do everything you can get away with to advance our interests. That's the game. That's what they do. Anyway, it's craziness. All right, well, that's a pretty good note to wrap it up on, huh?
Yeah, I'd say so. Oh, don't forget to give out our number.
Can you read it?
There you go.
It's going to be in the shop. Look out. Sorry. All right, so the number is 904-549-9024, and it's to leave comments.
It's to leave messages, anything you guys would like to say that you don't want to type out, or any questions that you have. We listen to your comments.
Is there any way they can leave a voicemail and just have it go to the Venmo? No, that doesn't work.
No, leave a voicemail. We'll go through the voicemails, and then we'll try to answer your questions on call. And of course, you'll get to hear yourself live on the internet.
Yeah. And then don't forget to tip us in Venmo and subscribe and like and share and comment. And
We'll see you guys next time.
Yep.
Thanks.